Now, dating apps have brought a new dimension to online romance, of course. It's really changed the whole game. But as more couples meet this way, their encounters often don't match their expectations.
The real-life stories of some online daters have been captured in a new ABC series featuring puppets as the main characters.
I'm so starved for attention, maybe I just give it a go anyway.
What? Whoa, I was not prepared for that.
You do take a risk because you never know who you're going to run into.
Get out now.
It really hurt my feelings.
That level of happiness was just, it was ecstasy.
There are people out there who have very successful relationships from these kind of dating apps. However, they're sort of needles in a haystack.
Very nice.
Needles in a haystack, beautiful. Well, look, there are No Strings Attached, which airs nightly this week on ABC2 and iView. Its creator is Emma Watts, who's going to account for the fact now immediately that she decided to cast it with puppets. Emma Watts, good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
You strange person. How did you make the leap from interviewing hundreds of people, I think you did, about their online dating experiences to decide to casting it with puppets?
Well, I'm a TV producer-director and I was working on this big show where a lot of my fellow producers and colleagues were all using dating apps. And I sort of found myself on a Monday morning racing to come into work to find out what had happened over the weekend with their matches that they'd made earlier in the week. And I quickly realised that there was this enormous well of stories on Tinder, on Grindr, on all these dating apps. But what I really quickly realised is that no normal person wants to actually share their story of sex and dating and show their face and show their name.
Well, I wonder why.
So a friend of mine is a puppeteer, and I bought in the idea and I said, wouldn't it be fantastic if we recreated all these dates with puppets? And Michelon, the puppeteer, he was straight on board and he loved it. And so it grew from there.
All of your friends, all of your work colleagues are now looking at the puppet saying, ooh, is that me? Is that one me?
Exactly.
I said that to Emma once. And so you can be much more candid, therefore, than you could be with humans.
Yeah, and it's a great point because that's what we really love about this series is the interviews are so natural and they're so revealing and they're so honest. So although the show is about sort of silly and funny and awkward dating app experiences, we really tried to get to the bottom of some of the isolation and loneliness that people feel.
And that's the cleverness in casting it with puppets, because there's always a pathos and a humanity and a real attraction to puppets. We have that sweet connection to them. And so when you hear these really painful things coming out of the mouths of puppets, there's something quite affecting about it.
Yeah, the puppets really add to the humour, don't they?
Yeah, but also the humanity in an odd way, because they're not human. So it's a beautiful paradox. So how bad are the stories, Emma?
Some of them get pretty bad.
Just remember you're on breakfast TV, okay?
I'll be very careful. Yeah, some of the stories are, you know, incredible disaster stories. They're shocking, they're crazy. You can't believe that they're actually real. Sort of tales of betrayal and blackmail and all these kinds of things.
Crikey.
But there are the happily ever after stories.
So
that's good.
So on balance, given all the many interviews you did, dating apps, good or bad?
It's a really good question. I think they're really divisive. People either love dating apps or they hate them. And so when we were going through our casting process and looking for stories, we were reading hundreds of these stories. And Lisa, my co-creator, and I would be reading them, and all of a sudden we'd be like, dating apps are so depressing. They're so humiliating. They're so awful. But then you'd get this beautiful story of two people who met and they might have lived in different countries or even just opposite sides of Melbourne. And they would say there's no way on earth they would have met in any other way. So, you know, they are uplifting as well.
With dating situations can be very awkward. I believe there was a fair bit of awkwardness in your family, Emma, when you asked your mother to score.
Oh yes, my mother, she's a fantastic composer and usually she writes for big orchestral pieces. And I approached her about this series, but I sort of kept the bedroom antics of what happens in the series under wraps until we started creating the show. And then she's like, you want what kind of music for what? But she was a great sport. And she's a big fan of the deeper side of the show as well. She likes the sort of philosophical approach to dating in the modern era.
Which is a really big challenge. Emma, it's a beautiful series. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.